Hi, this is Mike from Radiant Photography, and look what just came in. I ordered one of these last week on a Black Friday deal, and I'm just absolutely thrilled to have it here. I have no other camera I'd rather have right now. It's a 1D X Mark II would be, of course, it's Canon's top of the line, but it's also big, heavy, and horrible to travel with. Not horrible to travel with, just I'd rather have something like this a little bit smaller. It came with a kit with this other stuff here, which actually had the grip like the 1DX would have, but the nice thing is that I can remove it when I don't want it, want to be using it. So yeah, it's a pretty nice deal. 30 megapixels, ISO going all the way up to 32,000 natively, and then extension up to 102,000 beyond that. So let's give it an unboxing. Alright, what's on top here? Just the usual manuals and so forth. Let's see. We got, holy cow, look at the size of the manuals. Looks like it's a couple different languages, English and Spanish. Some light reading, of course. There's got to be, what, 500 pages here. So that's a novel I'll read some other time. Register your camera, a couple of discs for the software that comes with it, latest version and so forth. Let's see what's underneath. Alright, I did not get the kit. I got just the camera, not without any lenses with it. I have lenses and I don't need any more lenses right now. This looks like it is a USB cord for well, for tethering or just for connecting the camera to download images. This camera switched to USB 3. It's the first 5D series that has USB 3 on it. So that will be really handy when cropping photos into Lightroom. Importing speed, I'm sure, will go much faster. Let's take a look. We got the camera here, pretty hefty. On this other side, we have all the accessories. So we got a camera strap. It actually has the Mark IV printed on it. The battery, which is as expected. I've heard the battery life in this camera is a little bit less than the 5D Mark III. I'm actually upgrading from the 5D Mark II, and so I'm guessing that the battery life will not be nearly as good in this camera, just because it has an extra digic processor for just the focusing. It also has a built-in GPS and Wi-Fi and stuff, and so if you use those things, they pull a little bit more energy, and the batteries are the same. So so that's a little bit of a drawback, but I don't think it'll be an issue. I mean, especially with the grip, you can throw 2 batteries in there. So battery charger looks like a pretty reasonable size. And what is this? Oh, this is the eyepiece. So yeah, that's cool too. Alright, well, let's take a look at the camera. Pretty well wrapped. I got one layer of bubbles, and then a layer of foamy stuff. And there it is. Cool. This camera body looks very similar to other Pro style bodies from Canon, like the 5D Mark III that came before it. I guess there's the 5D Mark or 5DS and 5DSR. A very similar layout in 7D Mark II as well. I'm upgrading actually from the 5D Mark II, and so there are some extra differences here. The biggest probably is that the on-off switch used to be down here, and so that muscle memory is going to have to change because on this new one it's up at the top. I actually prefer it to be up here because I think it's just more standard to have the on-off switch right next to the mode dial. And so that's actually a benefit from where I'm coming from. The other addition here is the locking mode dial. The 5D Mark II did not have that, and it's kind of nice because if you're out and you bump into something and accidentally switch the mode dial to a different mode that you're not intending to have it lock and not change is much better in that situation. So the other big difference in the back here is this joystick and the button down here, and that's basically to set for select focusing points and focusing zones. So I'm looking for that. I've used the 7D Mark II, which has a similar feature on it, and I love it. It just makes it so easy to switch focusing points without even moving the camera from your eyepiece and so forth. You don't have to look down to switch focusing modes, and everything just happens in the viewfinder there. So that's kind of slick as well. On the top, pretty similar. The only addition from the 5D Mark II is this manual function button. Gonna have to look through to see what kind of modes I can use to hook that up. From what I hear, you use this and then use the wheel to actually select the mode, and you can do that again without removing the camera from your shooting position. So that's kind of handy. On the side is the memory card slot. The 5D Mark IV has 2 memory card slots, and some people were complaining about this because they're the old memory card slots, the SD and the compact flash. I don't mind it so much. I guess if you have a CFast card, I mean they're faster, but then you pay for it. It's a lot more expensive to buy them, and so that I don't mind it. I mean, as long as it keeps up, the compact flash is good enough for me. I suppose if you had the CFast, you would have a longer buffer when you're doing high-speed shooting, but as it is, the buffer will hold 3 to 4 seconds of high-speed shots, which is enough in most situations. Even when doing sports, I mean, usually you're not having a high speed for more than that amount of time, and if you are, you should be timing your shots a little bit better. So I guess the other drawback then is from between compact flash and the CFast is the CFast would support 4K video at 60 frames per second, or at least it does on the 1DX Mark II. And so here this will do 4K, but it'll only do it at 30 frames per second. Again, that's kind of a small difference. I mean, I suppose if you want to do slow motion, but usually it's 30 frames per second is what you want to shoot in anyway, or what I'd like to shoot in. Front, again, pretty similar, not too much different. Depth of field preview buttons down the bottom here. This looks like it's a remote connector for the remote a manual shot or a bulb setting. And so that moved a little bit. That was in here. Yeah, looks like it's pretty stiff putting the lens cap on. Pretty normal there. And then on the side we have a flash, an external flash bracket connector. Then you have the microphone and headphone port for when you're doing video. And on this side we have a mini HDMI and a USB 3 that I already talked about earlier. So yeah, that's the camera. It's it feels pretty solid. It's a little bit lighter than previous models, which is a little bit nicer. I mean, it's only a couple ounces lighter. It's not a huge change, but it's still a magnesium alloy body, so it's very rugged. It feels rugged, feels solid. No creaks or anything like that. There's weather sealing on it, so you should be able to take it out in rain. I wouldn't do a downpour, but I've had my cameras out in the past in a moderate rain and had no issues at all. I'm assuming that the lenses on there are also weather sealed. So So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started and up and running with this, taken out and get some experience with it. And so hopefully I'll have a chance to grab another video later on with some first impressions maybe. But until then, thanks for watching. Again, my name is Mike from Radiant Photography. Have a good one.